can bring them up here, Stephen Mall. Awesome.
Does anybody want a bottle of water instead of a cup?
I mean, I'll take
You're welcome. Oh, you want to taste some inside?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to some of you. Just a couple of reminders here before we get going. As a courtesy to your fellow media members, coaches, and student athletes, please silence your cell phones, and recording press conference video on your cell phone is prohibited. We have 2 mic runners. Please wait to ask your questions until the microphone reaches you. State your name and media affiliation, and please direct your question to who you're asking. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We're going to address questions in the room first and then take questions from Zoom if time permits. Welcome to the podium now from Oregon State, head coach Mitch Canham, and then student athletes Gavin Turley, Wilson Weber, and Dax Whitney. Gentlemen, congratulations on a great season and making it to Omaha. Coach, if you want to start out with an opening statement.
An opening statement. Well, I'm incredibly excited for the opportunity for these guys to go out and inspire the world and continue the story that they've created throughout the entirety of this year. It's such a blessing it's been. I think when others look at the difficulty and the hardship that a lot of people can perceive with the scheduling and the road games and even through the postseason, or some guys maybe not having the start that they wanted, but the growth that has happened. It says in our clubhouse, right when you walk in, growing our family of champions and all that we do. And I think of growth. It's what these guys have done throughout the entirety of the year, on the field and off the field as men. Family, how they've embraced one another and created a very tight-knit brotherhood and will do anything for one another. Champions in everything that we do. Whatever is asked of them, I got Gavin Turley laying down bunts from time to time, and he's a power hitter because he will do anything it takes to become a champion and help the guys around him. I got Wilson Weber catching every single day and wants the ball and continuing to grow as a man and as a leader, and it's just incredible to watch him go out and perform. And up here on the stage too, you got Dax Whitney. I can go through all of our guys and give you a lengthy story on each and every one of them, why I'm proud of them, but a true freshman taking the ball in some of the biggest games, continuing to try and to get better. And one of the biggest things I want to point out is with all of this going on, with NIL, transfer portals, the amount of money that can be had in the draft, you name it, these guys all chose to be at Oregon State. And that means a lot about who they are as men and where their values lay, how much they care about that place and that brotherhood. And so it warms my heart that I get to go be a part of that and help out any way I can. We have a coaching staff that loves these guys because of who they are and what they represent and how they go about their business. So I don't know, we look at everything that's happened this year as a blessing. Every road trip, every layover, delay, meal that doesn't show up, rough call here, there, nicks and dings with the bodies, bad haircuts, it's all part of the plan. I'm not specifically looking at anyone on stage. I'm just saying I've seen a few.
All right, we're going to open it up to questions for the student athletes. Please reminder to raise your hand, state your name and media affiliation.
Mark Arlen, College Baseball Central. Wilson, we'll start with you and then go to Gavin. It seemed like the offense started to turn a little bit in Hawaii. I felt you guys just built as a team. You guys kind of came together all at once. I saw it in person. It felt palpable there. And then Gavin, speak a little bit about how you guys just continued that going through the postseason.
I wouldn't say there was one necessarily thing that made us totally click offensively. I know it kind of happened towards that second half of the season, but just kind of comes down to having fun, enjoying, playing free and easy, and just playing for each other. I think that we kind of finally fully set on that, and then just kept doing it.
I think well said, Webb. Yeah, going into the postseason, it's kind of just like, hey, we're going to leave it all out there. Win or lose, there's going to be no regrets. So I think when you play like that, it's easy to go out there, play free, and perform at your best. So.
Noah Bieniek of 11.7. This question is for Gavin. 26 career RBI in the postseason with Oregon State. That ties a Beaver record currently with the man that is sitting right next to you, your coach Canham. Has there been any friendly jabbing back and forth between the two of you? Can you just describe the relationship that you have with Coach and also Coach with the rest of the guys on the team?
Yeah, not yet. No friendly jabbing yet.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Will though, for sure. But the relationship is great. I'm sure there's nothing more than he'd want to see me to break that record. But no, I had no clue about that. So cool.
Yeah, this guy breaks every record, right? I mean, Boz was here last year, and it seemed like I remember when Boz was taking his recruiting visit. He took a picture of all the records on the board, and he goes, "I go, what are you doing?" He goes, "I'm taking a picture so I can just remind myself to break all of these." And now this guy's over here breaking home run records and RBI records, and you spend a couple of days with this guy, and you just realize he can do anything. He can communicate with the CEO of a major corporation or someone that's just hanging out at a bus stop that you never met before. Like Gavin's ability to just be social and love other people. I mean, it's infectious. It's it makes all of us better people as well. Just finding that joy in each and every day. I played at Oregon State before any of these guys were born, I think. So, they don't even know what Rosenblatt is. And so when I was coming out, I was like, "Yeah, Rosenblatt," and they're like, "What?" Never mind. But for each of these guys that are up here too, like the relationship, it's just like my son and my daughter. My relationship with each of them is a little bit different because they each have different interests, and it's knowing who they are, what their wants and dreams are, reading their body language, and also making sure that I'm not getting in the way and interfering with, who they are as people. My job is also, because for every mile of road, there's 2 miles of ditch. My job is to make sure that they have those guardrails on each side so that they don't fall off, that they're going to get to their destination of greatness, without falling off the road and as quickly as possible. I mean, it's expediting their development. And, what we see here is Webb chose to come back here and be a leader and take on the challenge and get uncomfortable and work on the things he needs to work on. And, how strong of a Christian he is and how he inspires other guys about going about the day-to-day. He does everything right. For each of these guys, like who have I had to come in, see if we have honesty on here on the stage. Who have I had to call in and scold for doing anything wrong? No one? Okay. I only can remember one time Dax and I had a conversation just about leading and going into it, but never like scolding him because they do the right thing.
I missed class one time. Remember that? Yeah, I missed honesty. I
appreciate you doing that. Yeah, and it's part of our thing is that if you're not doing the right thing all the time, then there are consequences for it. My expectations of turning in every assignment and giving it your best effort, my expectations of showing up to practice with great attitude every day. Our 4 pillars: selfless, process, do the right thing, and fun. Now, there's different variations of what those words mean, but that's something that we've talked a lot about, and our expectations are extremely high because people at Oregon State and the tradition of this program, it's way beyond any of us. My title may say head coach, but I'm just a servant for this program and this community. Someday I'll be gone, and I want it to be in a better place than when I got here, and those who gave to us before it. And I know someday these guys are going to look back and be wanting to pour into the next generation. They're already doing that right now. I watch after the game of the Super Regionals, or even when everyone else was playing in a conference tournament, we scrimmaged 7 innings on Friday, and afterwards we brought everybody out on the field. We signed autographs for them, and these guys all stood on the third base line and signed every autograph that came down there, even DeCramer and the guys that were at the end of the line that were trying to find a spot to sign on the ball. You were down there at the end, weren't you?
Yeah, it was rough.
But they stayed out there till everyone got an autograph and spent time with them. And then we played Sandlot on the Jumbotron, and a handful of the players stayed out there and watched the movie with the kids. You know, it's just, in my mind, these guys are superheroes, right? Now, what type of superhero? That's what we're building to be the best possible superhero that we can be. But like all around the world, why did Bazana come to Oregon State? You know, why do kids from other parts of the country want to reach out and come to Oregon State? It's because they're seeing the stuff that these guys are doing right now. And I really want more of the story to be out. I don't want walls around our clubhouse. I would like just pillars so people can see and understand what they went through in its entirety this year and how special it really is. Because that was the prayer from the get-go. Let's make this thing like so challenging. Let's do something that no one else has ever done, and like that gives them the opportunity to go out there and transform like college athletics. And the truth of what young kids need to see is guys doing the right thing, caring about one another, right? Handling the ups and downs the right way, not just getting upset about the downs, but, you know, handling positivity, like the positive things in a good way. Celebration ends after a super regional. Everyone's excited. Didn't get too high, didn't go out, do nothing stupid. Our focus is still what do we have to do tomorrow that we need to go out and focus on. So I know their head's in the right space while we're here.
Questions for the student athletes in the back?
Hi, Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald. Question for the student athletes. Your teammate Aiva Arquette. How have you seen him kind of just come into this season? Obviously, he's playing with a little bit of pressure because a lot of people are thinking he might get the first pick in the Major League Baseball draft. So how have you seen him manage that pressure and just acclimate into the team this year?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the dude shows more fire than anybody on the team. So he really wants to win, and he couldn't care less about his draft stock or things like that. He's here because he wants to win, and he's going to do everything he can to win.
Yeah, going off that, I don't think he feels that pressure because he wants to win and have fun with the guys. I feel like he's one of the best guys in the clubhouse to have fun with and goes about every day with positivity no matter how he's feeling. I don't think he's had one bad year in the clubhouse for whatever reason. He's just a happy individual, and I don't think he plays feeling that pressure. I think he just plays, has fun, and just wants to go out and win.
Yeah, I don't think Arquette knows what the word pressure is. Knowing him, like, it's fun to watch him in BP too, because it'll be pregame BP, and all of us as hitters, it might not look the best on any given day, but Arquette might roll over 4 times and gets out of the cage and nothing, like legit, nothing. It's just like there's no pressure with that kid, and it's honestly taught me a lot about how to go about my business. So.
Yeah, Eric Olson with the Associated Press. Guys, could you comment a little bit on just your thoughts? I'll ask this because they're on the other side of the bracket, just about Murray State making it to the College World Series. Did you watch the end of their game on Monday? And just kind of what your thoughts are about some new blood being in here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the game. I think it's cool what they've done. It's pretty special. Like, they've obviously earned the opportunity to be here, and I don't think that anybody should overlook them. I know we're not overlooking them. We're ready to play whoever we need to. So, yeah, I mean, pretty cool that they're here.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. Basically, Dak just said it was cool to watch that game and see them kind of making history for them. And, yeah, we're not overlooking them or anything. So exactly what Dak said.
Yeah, I love to see them here. It's not about who's the better team. It's about who's playing better on that given day. So, that's baseball. So.
Noah Darling, College Baseball Central. Guys, looking at who you guys have surrounded yourself with, starting with Coach Canham, but also Zach Taylor and Joey Wong. What's the value of having those kind of guys around you, not just during a regular season, but also in the postseason when they've won so much themselves?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have a lot of experience. They've poured that onto us a little bit, kind of the knowledge they have and kind of what to expect. But you just know all of them love you. They're going to do anything they need to and can to help you. So it's super nice to have that support system around us.
For me, I'd say that's one of the reasons why I chose Oregon State was them and who they are, not just as coaches, but as men and what they're about, what they believe in, and how they live their lives. And so that's important to have. And then it's cherry on top that they're doing what they do at the coaching level of things with their experience they've had and how they run things on that side.
For me, it's a calming feeling knowing that, like, I'm in the right hands, we're in the right hands, and kind of being able to be guided so efficiently. Yeah, it's phenomenal to have those guys in our corner.
Sure.
Mike Patterson, Omaha World Herald. Any of the players, just talk a little bit about the road warrior mentality of this team and how you hope that'll translate into something positive here in Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been saying it all year. I think we're more prepared than anybody to go do this thing. We've been handling adversity all year, and we welcome it all the time. So I think we're better trained than anybody in the country to go do this thing.
For me, I'd say it just feels like coming into whatever yard we have this year and making it our house. So I feel like we're going to do that pretty well here. And then also, I was just telling somebody was asking me in the dugout after practice was about the road games, and I was like, I just see it as the opportunity to spend more times with the guys, kind of develop those relationships even more. Just because even the layovers that long or the bus that didn't show up on time or stuff like that, it's just like sometimes you see it after the fact and you're like, oh, this kind of sucks, but it's just more time getting there, playing cards with the boys, and just hotel time too. So I just saw it as a blessing this year.
I think at one point we felt more comfortable on the road than we did at home. So coming back out here on the road, it's nothing new to us, which I think plays to an advantage for us. So.
Peter Burnett from the Council Bluffs Nonpareil. Question for Gavin and for Wilson. The addition of AJ to the lineup this year, coming over from Iowa Western, how has that kind of helped boost you guys and just the lineup and the team hitting as a whole?
He's definitely special. He's done a really good job defensively at second base. It's almost one of those guys like you don't notice, which is a really good thing, just because you don't remember any errors, and even if there is a little like miss up, it doesn't affect him at all. And then same thing in the lineup. He's just ready to go each day, and he doesn't swing and miss much, so he's going to put the ball in play and put pressure on whoever's out there.
Yeah, I think Singer is a great player on the field, but he's been a huge role off the field for us. So I think that's where we've really seen his value is his personality, and him being in the dugout and the kind of person he is very uplifting for everyone.
Noah Being of 11.7. This question's for Dax. In Coach Canham's opening statement, he didn't mention you by name, but you are one of those guys who did pass up on the draft not just 11 months ago, and now you're playing in Omaha. Describe the feeling stepping out onto the field today.
I mean, I kind of had this was my vision when I made that decision to come here. I really wanted to come here the whole time. It was more of like if I get lucky, I'll go to the draft. I wasn't planning on it. I was really set on coming here, and this is exactly what I dreamed of. This is why I came here, because I knew we were capable of it, and I knew we're capable of going further than we are right now. So that's exactly why I came here.
It's all the time we have for questions for the student athletes. So Gavin, Wilson, and Dax, thanks for joining us, and good luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Well done.
Start now with questions for Coach.
Hey, Mitch, Eric Olson with the Associated Press. Kind of like I asked the guys, 6 conferences, an independent in this field, Murray State being one of them. Just could you comment a little bit just on the kind of the diversity of the field and in particular Murray State, just what they were able to do?
Well, I was sitting at the All-American Committee meeting this morning, and we were talking about just landscape of baseball and some of the programs out there, and really what their head guy has done. Paying credit where it's due. Like, it's incredible. They're a great offense, right? And the work ethic that goes into that, the attitude that you have to go out and compete at a high level. I just respect the game being played well. I respect good competition. And every team, once you start the postseason, every team that's in there is there for a reason. And it just continues to excel each round. And so being here in Omaha and having, 7 other teams, that we're going to go up against, what a great opportunity. And how cool is it? I like studying my opponents. I love history, and I love seeing how, people continue to evolve and how they have accomplished great things. And so for each of those teams here this year, I am always curious, what have they done to continue to develop? What are they doing? You face a good base running team like Louisville who can really, really run. Is it just speed, or what are they doing? How are they studying the counts and when to run? You got teams like Coastal that have elite level pitching. What are they doing? How are they doing? I want to learn more about the game. I want to learn more about competition. So respecting your opponents is important, and also just like every time we've won or lost the game this year, I've learned a ton from breaking down the video and studying our opponents. How did they take pregame? I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking about, hey, we don't really take in and out as often as we used to. And I go, why is that? He goes, just when you're the visiting team, you don't have a lot of time. You'd rather use that time to focus on recovery to make sure that we're primed for 9 innings of baseball. It just made me think a little bit like, do we need to take in and out before every single game? And do we need to do it the same way every time? And so each of these teams that are here, having played against UCLA just one game this year and knowing John for a long time, or seeing what a job that Chip's done, at Arizona, again, it's just, these are all great competitors, great teams. And, from the time the field was set until this thing's over and even beyond, I'll be studying a lot of that. I remember looking back and watching Arizona and Coastal play in 2016 and doing that, 2 years after watching them play, just studying the catchers a little bit. So it's great to be a student of the game and great to have a lot of tough competitors out there. And I think what Murray State is doing is outstanding. They got a big-time offense.
Hi, Mitch. Over here.
I hear Joe. There you are.
Could you just speak to the challenge that Louisville brings? You mentioned they're still on bases. They're going to pressure you guys on the bases. Can you just speak to that and maybe think back to Oregon and how they challenged you and maybe how you grew from that series?
Yeah, that series with Oregon, there's a handful of stolen bases that we had allowed, and, you just look at it rather than, bury your head in the sand. It's like, okay, what can we do to get better here? Whether it's our looks and our pick moves, some of our pick plays, and just recognizing tendencies that other teams are giving us, because giving up free bases is never something that we want to do. We need to be better at that, and we've gotten better at it as the season's gone on. But every time something like that where we really struggled on a weekend, back to the drawing board, figure out how to get better. Louisville has a lot of speed. They got a handful of guys, 3 guys over 30 bags, one guy who's 51 for 52. There's real speed there. And I've seen guys that are really quick to the plate and they still take bags off of them. Seen guys that have howitzers for arms behind the dish and they're still getting bags off of them. And so I think it's good for the game. It's good for us because it continues to teach you, a 1-3-5, which was good to, have a time to home plate as a pitcher. Maybe now it's not that anymore. Maybe a 1-2 is necessary to shut down a run game. It's also mixing looks, because if you fall into a rhythm, other teams can pick that up. So you can tell they've worked a lot on the bases, as well as recruited a lot of speed. But also they got a handful of guys up and down their lineup that are tremendous hitters that work the ball really well on top of the zone and bottom of the zone, inside, outside. So that makes it quite a challenge, which is always welcomed, for whoever's playing against them to prepare for their pitchers and make sure their guys are out there executing high-quality pitches. As well as I believe the guy they're starting first against us, he's got a big-time arm. He's got a lot of punch-outs too. And so there's always stuff. And I feel like we've played a lot of great competition. The teams that can run, we played against teams that have really good arms. Iowa had a great set of arms as well. It's like what Gav said, being who's on fire right now, who's hot, who's playing their best baseball, who's going to respond to failure, who's going to let 27,000 fans, play into the equation of how they're performing, as opposed to just focusing on the game and the joy that goes with it. So I know Louisville, they do a lot of things really well. Just watching a handful of their games already, and doing a little bit deeper of a dive on some of their hitters and situational stuff. You know, it was you could tell they've deserved the right to be here. Is how they've gone about their business. They've played a lot of really good teams, so we got to make sure that we're ready to go out and compete.
Got time for 2 more questions, so we're going to go in the back right here and then up in the front.
2 quick questions here. First one, can you speak about the impact that AJ has had on this team coming over from Iowa Western? And then also, kind of to that earlier question, following up on that, just having West Coast teams here, again, Arizona's coach Chip Hale kind of mentioned that the only way to kind of defeat what the SEC is doing in terms of their recruiting is to get here to Omaha. So can you just kind of speak of you and Arizona and UCLA getting here and how that kind of shows more parity in college baseball?
Yeah. Well, first off, with AJ Singer, tremendous. In my mind, I don't know how the guy's not going to be a Gold Glover. He's made 1 error all year. You know, and like we could see that stuff. You watch him go out there and play, how he turns a double play, how he moves his feet. He's got 160 plus assists, so he's ranging to a lot of balls as well. You know, how he turns a double play, cuts and relays, you name it. He stays very involved in the game. He's present. He's done it each and every game, right? And then the other part that no one sees is he taught a handful of our classroom sessions in the fall, and he wanted to do it. I always open it up for guys, hey, who wants to teach and share some wisdom with the other guys or prepare on something you don't know? And AJ did it multiple times where he goes, hey, I'd like to present this to the group. And he comes in our office, presents to the coaches, does a little practice round, then goes and presents to the guys. And so I think his leadership, his calming nature, and the fact that he wants to coach someday, he's expressed that. And he has a vision on where and what he wants to do as a coach. And so it's like giving him opportunities to learn what that entails and how to become even more of a leader. But he was extremely successful, you know, at Iowa Western, and now he's extremely successful here as well. He enjoys and loved everything about that program when he was there, and he's embraced very quickly and loved everything about what he's doing at Oregon State. So tremendous young man, and he's going to be a great coach and a great player for a long time. When it comes to the West Coast stuff, I mean, I'm from the Northwest, and West, bringing pride back and having people understand how good baseball is out West is tremendous. I know that a lot of attention gets given with finances and you know, players getting drafted and all this. Look where, not necessarily where the players played and got drafted from, but a lot of guys were on the West Coast playing as freshmen or sophomores and really, really good, and maybe transferred, and that they were going to get drafted out there. Did Paul Skeens get drafted because of where he was at, or was it because he threw 100 miles an hour and he was really good? There's no doubt he continued to develop and all those other things. I'm not taking anything away from that, but I just think that the amount of high-quality players that come from the West Coast and watching, you know, UCLA and Arizona, and I'm thinking about Irvine and Santa Barbara and all the other schools throughout the West Coast that have tremendous talent, are extremely well coached. It's great baseball. And for kids that are on the West Coast to be able to play in front of their families and continue to develop, because it's not about getting drafted or anything like that. It's, are you going to be ready, or what's putting you in the best position to make the most out of college, get your education and win a College World Series, but also going on and playing in the big leagues for a long time, not just making an appearance or saying you played pro ball. You know, it's making the most of your career and maximizing your potential. You know, I am biased. I see it all the time. We were down in Fullerton playing this year, and I went out to a restaurant where, with some of the other coaches, where Augie had his memorial service. You know, it's like the Fullerton Bar and Grill or whatever, and they got ribs and pints and all that stuff, and it was just really cool to walk around and see the history of Fullerton baseball and what they did over the years. And it's like little places like that as we go out and travel. I like learning about the history, especially of West Coast baseball. You know, there's a lot of programs. I remember one time I was going through the basement of Gill, our basketball coliseum, and clearing out one of the closets, and I found a letter to Coach Casey from another college coach from USC, and that letter was written out to Case, talking about how awesome it was and how proud he was of Case for doing what he did, getting Oregon State to the College World Series and winning it. And it was cool to see like the respect that coaches have for one another, especially on the West Coast. You know, fierce competitors up and down, and everyone wants to win and recruit and hard and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like they still have a lot of respect for one another. Coach Casey and Pat Murphy, when he was at Arizona State, fierce competitors against one another. And I now watch having, talking to Case all the time, the relationship they have as friends now. And Murph doing it in the big leagues, and just Case, being a part of all those things and mentoring people from across the country. I think it's pretty special. And I hope a lot of people see from our three teams, not just those 3 teams, but all the other teams up and down the West Coast that are doing phenomenal things, and how difficult it is competing day in and day out against those teams because of how they're coached. I got a lot of respect for Ben down at Irvine. And every time you go in there, those guys aren't going to move their feet. They're going to get hit by pitches if you throw it inside, right? And Brock does it at San Diego as well. They're just nonstop, highly competitive teams, well coached.
One more question.
Mark Ireland, College Baseball Central.
Yes.
Coach, can you speak a little bit about the importance of Beaver Nation this year, especially being the eagerness to go on the road and travel with you guys and support you guys through all that?
I like to express my gratitude for Beaver Nation for not absolutely attacking me, for not having a ton of home games, but also believing and trusting in us that, as we said from the beginning, we'll do whatever it takes to play the most meaningful home games at the end of the year. And we maximize the amount of games in the postseason at home too, so got a lot of home games from that. But that environment in Corvallis the last couple weeks, beautiful weather, extremely meaningful games to go on, and we've been in the postseason each of these years, but to break through and get back to Omaha and have the opportunity to go out and win it all, the environment was great. We got our head football coach sitting there going berserk the entirety of the game. Everyone in my cul-de-sac and alumni showing up. Jacoby showed up. Darwin came back. A lot of other alums. I mean, the stadium sold out quick as ever, and people were trying to find ways on top of the parking garage to watch. It was amazing, and it was nonstop, like clapping, cheering, chanting. I said I typically am so focused on the game, I don't hear or see what's going on in the crowd. I'm just really wanting to pay attention to the players and what's happening in the game. But I took a minute and I had to be like, this is absolutely amazing. And just the passion and walking around town before or after the games, like to see the joy people had. In my mind, like that's what's important for us as coaches and student athletes. Part of being at Oregon State Athletic Department is also when I see businesses around town. Athletics can help our community. If we're successful, people have smiles on their face. They're out and about. They're eating. They're sharing, and it keeps businesses open. Like I think that we have a responsibility to do the right thing and go out and compete and bring joy to our fan base, because it also bolsters our community. Like my daughter is like, she's so proud of being a Beaver. She wears Oregon State stuff each and every day. She told me she didn't like the color of my eyes because they were green. They're hazel, but she's just such a diehard Beaver fan. And there's all the other kids in the community or across the country that believe in those things too. So it's much more than just sport. And our fan base, and I know there's going to be a ton of orange and black here. And there's 4,000 of them that go down to Surprise with us week 1 every year. And so for our guys to experience that, like from the get-go, when we went down to Surprise, and I love seeing it. Our guys come out of the dugout, they turn around after the anthem and see all the orange and black and all those, like newbies to the program, turn around and see that. I'm like, there it is. And they're going to be with you all year, and they're going to be with you for the rest of your life. They love you. They want to see you go out and be successful. They're with you through the good and the bad. Like it's I don't know. I've had a lot of other coaches come in and go, wow, it's really like this out here, huh? You know, hearing coaches that are coming from the East Coast. Butch Thompson said that when he came in a couple of years ago. You know, Link said it when he was here. Wow, this place is pretty special. There's no doubt about it. That's why I wish everyone could live it for a little bit of time.
All right. Thanks, Coach, for your time, and good luck this week.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of